It is 11:45 p.m. on Monday night. I'm getting this out of the way. I don't want to think about this tomorrow. What an atrocity that was that we just witnessed at Paycor Stadium. What a sad sight it was to see I don't want to call it a defense. It is an insult to defenses to call that a defense. It's just, I keep trying to think of different ways to explain it. There are some, but none of them are logical for what we just saw. You were in the jungle. I'm Matt Edwards. You saw what the 0-2 teams did on Sunday. No intro music this week. We're not going to do that. Where do they play? In the jungle. Yes, Jayden Daniels, king of the jungle. I can't do the afraid of nobody thing right now. Win a freaking game first, and then we'll go back to that. 0-2 teams on Sunday came out and balled out, right? So the Titans still lost. But even the bad 0-2 teams, there's still NFL teams who are desperate. The Giants went into Cleveland and won. The Colts beat the Bears. And who am I missing? Oh, Andy freaking Dalton, my guy, goes to Las Vegas and puts on a performance against the Raiders. Those are the bad 0-2 teams. The good 0-2 teams, the Rams and the Ravens, they both won, and they won against tough opponents. Right? The Rams come back from down 14-0 to beat the 49ers. The Ravens go into Dallas and beat the Cowboys. So another good 0-2 team, or so we thought, good 0-2 team, the Cincinnati Bengals, playing at home in primetime, rookie quarterback, a team that drafted second 5 months ago. Gets smoked in one of the worst defensive performances you will ever see. I told you last week there was one way that Washington could win this game on Monday night. If Jayden Daniels comes out and has an all-time performance and introduces himself to America. And as they went to one of the final commercial breaks on Monday night, Joe Buck, also my guy, said Jayden Daniels having his coming out party introducing himself to America. It's exactly what he did. I don't know how you let it happen. There are some things we'll go through to try to figure that out. But just an astounding disappointment on Monday night as the Bengals fall to 0-3. I mean, we talked about this being the year. You know it's going to be the last year you get Joe, Jamar, and T all together. Offense was awesome. They were phenomenal. Doesn't matter when the other team literally sets records for a rookie, literally does not punt, nor do they turn the ball over. Do you want to try to stop anyone? They went, I think, 8 of 11 on 3rd and 4th down. Is that correct? I don't know that I wrote that down. The Washington Commanders, with a defensive head coach and a rookie at quarterback, a very good rookie, but a rookie nonetheless, playing against a very experienced defensive coordinator. They come into Paycor, and 3rd down 5 of 9, 4th down 3 of 3. So that's 8 of 12, close enough. 75% on 3rd and 4th down. Get off the field. Get off of the field. Jayden Daniels completed 91.3% of his passes. He was 21 of 23 for 254 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had 11 carries for 40 yards and a touchdown, so 294 total yards of offense. His 91.3 is a rookie record for completion percentage ever. And it is a franchise record for the Washington Commanders, who, despite all of their shortcomings, have had some very solid quarterbacks over the years. There was a time before I can remember where Washington was a very proud franchise. Now they are a commode of a franchise, yet in a back against the wall, gotta have it situation, the Bengals defense couldn't do anything. Just one of the all-time stinkers in Cincinnati, Ohio on Monday night. What you got? So this is why I talked about how it's frustrated me how when the Bengals go 0-2, they kind of brush it off. This is why you don't let games like week 1 slip. This is why you can't come out and say, oh, it's whatever. Because down the road, for as bad as the defense was tonight, they wouldn't have been that bad had B.J. Hill and Sheldon Rankins, 2 of their 3 competent defensive linemen, been in there. They've got 3 defensive linemen who are playing well this year. 2 of them were out tonight. Because now you're here in week 3 with no defense. You got to put those games in the bank because eventually it's like a rainy day fund, right? Eventually there's going to be hard times. Eventually you're going to have injuries, hopefully not serious ones. But tonight they were in a situation where 2 of their 3 defensive linemen who are worthy of starting in the NFL, and Sam Hubbard, I love you and all you've done for Cincinnati, but man, you've looked rough this season. Maybe we'll get to that later. But this is why when you're at full strength in week 1, you can't let the freaking New England Patriots, who have stunk it up since Brady left, come into your house and beat you 26-10 in that one. So the Bengals now 0-3 with 2 of those losses coming to the teams that drafted 2nd and 3rd last year. Pitiful. Let's start with that defense. That's our big story today, the big feast, the big meal, the main entree. And what a disgusting one it is. I would send it back if it were served to me at a restaurant. The defense was atrocious. Cam Taylor, Britt, shut the hell up next week. What are you doing? What are you doing? You go out there and say it's a college offense and they set records on you. You get burnt by Terry McLaurin. I talked Cam Taylor Britt up on this podcast coming into the preseason about him elevating into a number 1 cornerback. At this point, he might burn out. A lot of guys get up there to that top 3 spot, and then they start to kind of run their mouth and get the arrogance and all that. He hasn't cracked the top 10 yet. I thought he was going to this year, but it doesn't look like it. Get burnt by Rashee Rice last week. You get burnt by Terry McLaurin this week. And don't get me wrong, those guys are really good, but it's not like it's Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams out there. Dax Hill, the other cornerback, does not know how to tackle. What was it? It was 2nd and 21. 2nd and 21. They couldn't get a stop. So it was 2nd and 21 with about 8 minutes left. Jayden Daniels throws a quick pass right to the line of scrimmage. Dax Hill sprints up to him and just stops. Doesn't know how to tackle. And then gets burnt on the last play of the game. Game-sealing touchdown. DJ Turner's worse than Dax Hill? I have trouble believing that. Dax Hill is an incredible athlete, but once he gets on the field, things just haven't worked out so far. Things have not worked out so far. Sam Hubbard, man, like I said, age just seems to have caught up with him. He's been beat up. He looks like the Terminator with all the equipment he's got on out there. Love to see all these guys kind of turn this thing around, but right now it's ugly. You got 3rd-string guys starting at defensive tackle. That is the biggest issue, by the way. As much as, we want to sit here and say this, that, and the other thing, there's a lot of issues. But at the end of the day, having your 2 defensive tackles out in Sheldon Rankins and B.J. Hill, that's the biggest issue, along with the fact that DJ Reader leaves. I should have looked this up. There are plenty of great articles that were done because DJ Reader was beat up here and there in Cincinnati. When he was out, the defense was a whole different unit. He was that good, and now he's gone. And I think maybe as much as when he was in Cincinnati that Bengals fans would rightfully say he did not get the national recognition he deserved, I would say that we maybe didn't realize just how good he was because he's in the trenches. He's not making, flashy plays all that often. I think this team misses DJ Reader more than they realize. Now, Sheldon Rankins is wonderful, but he's not the big up-the-middle guy that DJ Reader was. I don't know why I keep saying Raider. He's a Lion now for what it's worth. I have been losing my voice at night, every night. I'm not sure why. If you know anything medically about that, please let me know. I do think the Bengals defense is kind of built for speed, for the Chiefs, for the Ravens to beat those teams. And when you get a team like New England or Washington that just wants to barrel you over, they can't really do a whole lot. Defense was bad, couldn't get a stop. Like I said, 8 of 12 on 3rd and 4th down were the Washington Commanders tonight. At the end of the game there, they had them in 2nd and 21. Dax Hill freezes, no clue why. Then it's 3rd and 12, okay? So still 3rd and 12, 3rd and long. They stop him on 3rd down, but only after 6 yards, and then they pick up like 15 on 4th down. Go ahead and go up 38-26 with 7:32 left, and that was pretty much it. For that game-sealing touchdown, Washington only had 10 men on the field. They only had 10 men on the field. And they couldn't get lined up, had to take a timeout. The play clock was still running down. Jayden Daniels was getting guys lined up. 10 men on the field. Bomb. See ya. Good night in Cincinnati. This stuff isn't that. I'm sure there's some deeper-seated things that, people who are into all the advanced stuff can tell you about all day, but I can tell you the stuff I'm talking about is not that difficult. It is not that difficult to go up and tackle a guy, or at least make an attempt. Missed tackles from a guy like Dax Hill I can get. He's a poor tackler. That happens. I can understand that Zach Carter and Jay Tuafile, they're not going to do well all that much. They're your second and third string guys, and they're playing defensive tackle. There's a lot of things that are just, I don't know, man. They just got bullied. They got smoked. Again, this isn't, I'm sure there are some complex, deep football things that you could talk about with this defense, but for the most part, they can't cover and they can't tackle. That was the issue tonight. And I get that Jayden Daniels is an incredible and elusive quarterback. But man, get one. Get a shot on him, make him think about running again. Nothing dirty, but make him think. Maybe I shouldn't be so bold in taking off. They missed DJ Reader. And they miss all their defensive tackles. After I record this, I am going to talk to my pal Taylor Cornell over on his podcast. If you want to check that out, I'll link that somewhere as well. I've never been on it, so it'll be fun. It won't be fun, actually. It'll be misery. It'll be misery. If you're still listening to this, what are you doing? Hang it up. There is so much beautiful music out there and so many nice things to put in your ears. Maybe it's therapeutic for you. I don't know. Offense was awesome on Monday Night Football. Yeah, Joe Burrow gets the game ball. We're giving out a game ball no matter what. Didn't think that one through before I started the season. Didn't think we'd be here. Joe Burrow was 29 of 38 for 324 yards, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. The Bengals did not turn over. They did not turn the ball over. They did not punt. Had you told me at 8:10 today, I don't bet on the Bengals. I give you bets. My ones this week were good, by the way, aside from the whole Bengals winning thing. But Jamar Chase, 24.5 yards for his longest reception, beat that on the first drive. Here's the thing. If you had told me that the Cincinnati Bengals would not punt and would not turn the ball over, I would see these arms. I would have bet both of them. Both of these arms. I would have said, you can have my arms if they don't win this game. If they don't turn it over or punt, they're putting up 50. Washington, I mean, look, Jayden Daniels looks special, won the Heisman. No, they're not going to put up enough points to beat a team that doesn't turn the ball over or punt. T. Higgins is back. Things are going to open up. Just ridiculous. What an incredibly, the offense was excellent. What a wasted performance. I hope there's a lot of shame in those defensive meeting rooms this week. Hit, fold, double down. Let's get into it. Hit the tight ends. Mike Gesicki and Eric All Jr. have been really solid. Eric All looks like he's ready to break out. We've heard, he was a day 1, day 2 draft pick, but had an injury history. Man, if that guy stays on the field, he looks like the real deal. Mike Gesicki, we saw him go out there and play really well again tonight. Had some big catches to, give the Bengals a shot. Gesicki with 4 grabs for 47 yards. Eric All with 4 for 22. You can tell that Burrow trusts Eric All. Like, you can see him you can just see it. For a 4th-round rookie, you got to be really happy with that. That's great. Keep them around. Didn't see any Jermaine Burton tonight, but you can kind of see the pieces unfolding as we know that T. Higgins will need to be replaced next year. And you can see some of the guys right now, and I think Eric All is one of them they're depending on to be that dude. Andre, I figured out how to say his last name consistently, and now I'm blanking. It's Yoshivas. I've said it that way before, but I feel like when I'm in the moment, I think of the letters and it just goes haywire. It like gets scrambled in my brain, which is done, by the way. My brain is completely done. I've got too much going on up there to read names that start with 3 vowels. But yeah, the pieces, the offense was incredible tonight. Incredible. And Yoshi was right there with everyone. I'm hitting on these young guys and the young receivers. I know Gesicki's not young anymore, but he's a guy it feels like you can get on a little 2 or 3 year deal after the season to stick around. So I hit on those guys. I fold on Cam Taylor-Britt talking. Stop. Calling it a college offense and get your ass kicked. Get your ass kicked up and down the field all night. That's an all-time, and Zach Taylor talked about it briefly after the game. He was about as irritated as I can remember seeing him in a post-game press conference. Basically said, we don't do that around here, so I would imagine he was asked if he had talked to Cam Taylor-Britt, and he said he'll keep that between us. Certainly he will. Zach Taylor to me a lot of times seems like the fun dad who can kind of, when he gets mad, you better pay attention because he doesn't get mad often. I mean, he did it last week with the Chiefs, saying Xavier Worthy is just fast, and maybe that's true. And maybe Washington does run a college offense. But when you're 0-2, maybe just worry about what you're doing. We will double down on the run game again. I mean, can I just fold on the whole defense, by the way? We'll double down on the run game. Zach Moss and Chase Brown looked like a really nice combo. I was hoping, first half, how sad is this? I remember thinking in the second quarter, just run the ball to keep the defense off the field. Keep your defense off the field. Control this clock so that your defense can stay off of the field because they're atrocious. 20 carries tonight, 124 yards, and a touchdown for the Bengals running backs. That includes one run from Joseph Lee Burrow. Yeah, those guys look good. Just Zach Moss, I love the way he runs. He had just an incredible, what should have been like a 2 or 3 yard loss turned into a first down tonight. Chase Brown, a lot of it came later in the game, but I mean, he had 7 carries for 62 yards. So, run game the offense looked awesome. Trent Brown, obviously, he was my fold last week. I wish him the best, but it looks like he hurt his knee, and it did not look good. The cart came out for him, so Amarius Mims in there. He had some struggles tonight, but also played well. I mean, rookie in his first game, and Washington's defensive line isn't awful. So, gave up a sack, but yeah, the offense is right where you want it to be. Defense is a train wreck. So, yeah, go out of the jungle. I don't even care. The Steelers are 3-0. The Bengals literally cannot jump the Steelers now in the standings for a full month. So, even if the Steelers lose 3 in a row and the Bengals win 3 in a row, they would be tied. So, you need a month now just to get ahead of that team. The Browns suck again. That's good. That is good. Just, again, the Giants were 0-2. They said, hey, we actually have to show up, despite the fact that Daniel Jones isn't very good, despite the fact that everyone seems to think our head coach is going to be fired. We as a team should show up. So, they did. Ravens hung on to win it. That's what you're supposed to do, although their defense tried to fold there at the end a little bit. It's just a tough one, man. One for the road. 6 teams have made the playoffs since 1979 after starting 0-6. Only one has done so this century. I know I mentioned this last week. 6 teams have made the playoffs since 1979 after, not 0-6. 6 teams, let me say it again, it's midnight. 6 teams have made the playoffs since 1979 after starting 0-3, which is now the record of your Cincinnati Bengals. The only one to do it this century would be Houston in 2018, and they lost in the wild card round. So, there's that if you're an optimist out there, but I just don't see. I mean, a shootout is one thing. This offense can hang with anyone. But when you can't get off the field at all, when you don't force the other team to punt or turn the ball over at all, what are you going to do? I mean, I know Jayden Daniels looks awesome, and maybe he will be the second. Maybe he's going to be, Lamar on the legs and Peyton with the arm. But, I mean, right now, you're going to play better teams than that. You're going to play better offenses than that. You still have to see Lamar twice. You still have to see Jalen Hurts, although jury kind of out on him a little now, too. I mean, the Bengals' schedule is easy. This was supposed to be an easy one. The next one's supposed to be an easy one. Just an awful night. Hopefully that's rock bottom, right? Hopefully this is a wake-up call. Joe Burrow in his post-game press conference said, got 14 games left. And yeah, you do. And yeah, your schedule's soft, so make something of it. But again, it's like, BJ Hill seems like he could play next week. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's more. And hopefully those guys get back in there and the interior defensive line and everything falls back into place. But, man, Dax Hill does not look like your second cornerback. Cam Taylor-Britt, I mean, you got you got some issues right now because your mouth is writing checks that you're not cashing, dog. So got to get it together. Been on you all off season. Said you would ascend into a number one cornerback in the league, a true, like, bona fide top 5-6 guy. It's bad enough to get burnt in back-to-back weeks on big plays. Can promise you that Cliff Kingsbury and company played that quote in their meeting. Just why give him the extra ammo? It's just so frustrating, man. It's sickening. It's one of those 0-3. Can you believe that? 0-3. I mean, before the season, we talked about 3-1 like it was a given. Like it was a given. Now 1-3 at best, and then Baltimore comes in. Then you go to New York. That game might get flexed. I mean, Bengals Giants. Disgusting. I don't even know that I have anything else. I don't have anything else written down. I'm sure I have lots of other thoughts that will come to me as I lay in bed angry tonight and awake. But 10 men on the field couldn't stop him from the dagger. Rookie under center. Offense, Washington's offense couldn't get set. A couple plays before that, it was 3rd and 21. With the game on the line. It's not like this was a second quarter and you were down 3-0 drive. This was, hey, our offense is churning. We need to get a stop to win. And 3rd and 21, you couldn't do it. Backs up against the wall. 0-2 in prime time. Smash the panic button, man. Hit it hard. All right, that's all I got for you. We'll have another episode on Friday because the Bengals play on Sunday this week. They might go back to Sunday at 1 o'clock all the time. I don't know who's going to want to watch this. I'm not jumping off the bandwagon. I've lived through much worse. I had an Achilles Smith jersey that I wore to school. By the way, how much does it suck? I mean, Corey Dillon and Tim Crumry, two of the all-time tough guys for the Bengals on their Ring of Honor night. Watch the Bengals get bullied. All right, look, we'll get back on track next week. They got to get to 1-3. I'm not going to come out with another episode on Friday that says the Bengals will demolish them like I did this week, although that's how I'm going to feel. But they got to get back, man. This podcast is called In the Jungle. If you like it, please give it a rating or a subscription or whatever. If you don't like it, welcome to the club. I don't like it right now either. My name's Matt Edwards. If you want to find me, I am on the website formerly known as Twitter, now called X, at Matt Edwards. And my YouTube, if you go to youtube.com/@ the little @ sign, In the Jungle Pod, you can see my stupid dumb face and leave comments telling me how ugly I am. So that'll be fun. Just a great Monday night, huh? Great time. Love staying up till midnight. Going to be fun getting up with my toddler at 6 a.m. tomorrow. The sweetest girl in the world deserves me at a full night of sleep, not angry because I stayed up watching that bum of a defense. Okay, that's all I got. It's In the Jungle. Give it a rating. Give it a subscribe. We'll see you again on Friday.